everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that intro. I thought I'd do something a little bit different because I am pretty excited about the F-14B coming this patch. And speaking of which, yeah, it's patch day. Congratulations, y'all, we made it to Royale. And I figured I'd go ahead and cover the F-14B first because this is one of the the more meta additions coming this patch. We'll be covering the F-16 and some other stuff like that later on. But first of all, what exactly are we looking at with the F-14B? So I'm sure many of y'all are familiar with the F-14A. We've had it in the game for actually a year now. The F-14B just takes everything that was good about the F-14A and makes it better. The biggest thing is going to be the engines. You can probably see that we have different nozzles. Well, they actually went ahead and slapped the same family of engines as the F-15 and the F-16 in here, so it has a much, much better thrust-to-weight ratio, especially at lower speeds. Now, it does technically have a little bit of a lower top speed, but that's not the huge part. I'm actually showing off the acceleration a little bit later. It has the same radar that you're already familiar with, so there shouldn't be any differences there. You also get AIM-7Ms, which in-game at least are going to perform just exactly the same. They did go ahead, I don't know if you saw right there, but they went ahead and gave it the gun lead radar thing, and they did make it a little bit better this patch. It's a little more accurate than it used to be, so if you want to use that, I wouldn't be like upset about it per se. I still wouldn't really recommend it. For me personally, I get a lot more use out of my gun if I'm just doing it myself. It's much more reliable that way. But I mean, hey, it's something. If you have issues aiming your gun, you know, might as well. I still wouldn't really do it that often though, personally. So it is something to consider. The F-14A did also get that, by the way. It's not just the B. So if you're using your F-14A grinding for this, then you're still good. Now, the AIM-7M, like I said, it has really no difference to the AIM-7F, but it's still a very, very good radar missile. Now, while yes, it's not as good as the R-27ER, you get 6 of these, and they are still very capable. They're like the second best radar missiles in the game right now after the R-27ER. So having 6 of them is incredibly, incredibly potent. The MiG-29 can only carry 2 of their R-27ER, and the Yak-141, I guess it could carry 2 ERs and 2 27Rs, but the 27R isn't even close. Like, it's arguably worse than the R-24R, just because the range is so much worse than what you're used to. Now, this right here is going to be that side-by-side I was telling you about, so right off the bat, even just off the runway, you can already see the acceleration is much better. Now, I ran these both at 30 minutes of fuel. This is not the exact acceleration you're going to see in a match because I also ran these clean, but I just wanted to see exactly the kind of acceleration you're looking at in these planes. And you can see the F-14B has a pretty considerable advantage. When I was coming off the runway, most of the time I was able to stay ahead of all the F-16s and F-14s and everything else and the F-4s. And the F-14 before, you were one of the last ones off the runway, even after the Phantoms. And you can see I'm already passing 900 right here, and the F-14A is still in the 700s. We hit 1,000, and the F-14A hasn't even had the Mach indicator show up yet. Now, I want to talk about the AIM-54C. So, it's a fine missile, just not really for killing fighters. That's the best way I can put it. This missile was designed for killing bombers. It pulls 17 Gs. It's not the most amazing thing. Compared to the AIM-54A, it is slightly different. It's a little bit heavier, and then it deviates a little bit less on inertial navigation. So, the AIM-54C is slightly better in that regard because you can lob them off like I'm doing right here, and I feel a lot more comfortable turning off my TWS and turning away with the AIM-54C than I did with the AIM-54A because it has a substantially lower inertial navigation drift. When it comes to the actual tracking and hitting stuff, it is going to perform pretty much identical to the AIM-54A. Same thing with the range, you're not really going to feel any difference there. It might be slightly worse on range actually in-game just because it's heavier. So, you will get kills with them. Like you can see, I'm getting 2 right here. I wouldn't recommend running a bunch of them. Honestly, I kind of stopped using them after the first few matches because people are just being so crazy right now. My personal favorite loadout right now is running 4 AIM-9Ls and 4 AIM-7Ms with the extra countermeasure pods. I wouldn't fault you for running the 6 AIM-7s, but for me at least, I'd rather have the extra sidewinders right now because everyone's flying low. It's probably because they're stock, but because I was getting so few AIM-7 kills, I'd rather have the sidewinder. Same thing right here. There's so many people on both sides shooting that every time I would get a missile off on somebody or just be looking at someone in general, they would die. I had an incredibly hard time getting footage for y'all, which is part of the reason why this video wasn't out a couple hours earlier. Just purely because you can see I launched this missile after finally getting the radar to cooperate. By the way, they did nerf the F-14's radar a bit this patch. And by the time I do that, there's already another AIM-7F on the way from someone else. So it's been interesting. Same thing with this F-16 right here. I'm actually going to shoot him, and he is going to get hit by my Sparrow, and then someone else is going to come and steal the kill, because Real Shatter hit missiles too, and they don't reliably do damage anymore. So you can see it crit him, it set him on fire, he's going to sit there burning, and then eventually a MiG-29 is going to come and hit him with an R-27, which is always fun, yeah. One of the really nice upgrades to the F-14 is the fact that it gets the AIM-9L now. AIM-9L is one of the best IR missiles in the game. The Python took a slot as the best in my opinion, but it's still like second best. It's very capable. And one of the really nice things in this case is that with the F-14B, you get the option of running them with the BOL countermeasure pod, which means you can carry up to 700 countermeasures, just like the Harrier if you decide to. That is my personal favorite loadout right now because of how hectic top tier is at the moment. You need a ton of flares. But if you don't want to run that, if you just want to run 2 of the AIM-9s with the BOL countermeasure pods, you still get well over 300 countermeasures, which is plenty. It's more than enough. Honestly, I think 90 is still enough for the most part at top tier. So F-14 is still very capable in the one circle. I do miss my shot here on the Mirage, unfortunately. I didn't get my nose down enough, but very capable. And then you see here's another case of me trying to dogfight somebody and dying. So I just thought I'd go ahead and show y'all another AIM-54 shot, talk a little bit more about this plane is going to be very cool. It's a very good addition. I personally, and some people are going to laugh, I think they should have added the F-15A this patch instead with AIM-9Ls and AIM-7F because that is the loadout I would most likely get, and that is the loadout I drop with in real life first. I think that would have been a better addition than another F-14 because this plane is arguably as capable in a dogfight as the F-15, depending on who you ask, while having access to 6 radar missiles instead of 4. And pre-MSIP F-18 radar, while super good, isn't like absolutely cracked. I am still very happy with this addition, and this is going to be one of the best planes in the game. I was already super happy with the F-14A, so getting one that's basically better in every way that matters to me, especially the engine performance, because that was the only real issue with the F-14A in the dogfight, was that engine performance. Plus getting unlimited countermeasures, essentially, plus getting the AIM-9L on the F-14, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I might go ahead and get another 1,000 kills with this plane as well. Now, I am more excited for the F-16 with Python, so you can probably expect that later this week. I might pump another video out before Sunday, or I might just go ahead and do it the next couple of days. We'll have to see how I feel. So, overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If this is your first time seeing my channel and you'd like to hit that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate that. I'm trying to hit 5,000 before the end of the year. Either way, hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all next time, and enjoy the patch, y'all. Always exciting on patch day. So, catch y'all next time. Peace.